So today is our Christmas special episode, but Eliza's out of town and she told me you have to make it look Christmassy. You got to decorate the set. And I said, I don't know how to do that. And that's why it looks like this. It looks like I'm a divorced dad throwing his first Christmas for his kid he never sees. And I'm just like, I don't know, I plugged in lights. Look, I strung it over the cabinet. Happy Christmas. Today on Don't Panic Pantry, it is Christmas. We are celebrating the Christmas special episode, but because we're shooting it in October and my wife's out of town, this is now a Lonely Hearts Christmas episode. The Feast of Seven Fishes, the idea is that you're supposed to eat 7 different sea animals in the evening. And so it's a Italian-American tradition. My mom loves doing it, even though her husband is a vegetarian, my brother is a vegetarian, his wife is a vegetarian, my sister is allergic to shellfish. So really it's just me, Eliza, and my mom eating a bunch of fish. But I want to show you today how to create a Feast of the Seven Fishes in a way that you get to enjoy your evening. So how to plan ahead. We're going to get everything prepped out so that when our guest of honor comes later, it's my friend Kevin, we're just going to be able to have a good time, throw together the last little bits, eat some food. We'll show you all the tricks to try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fishes. So our first course will cover 2 fishes. That's going to be a raw salmon and a raw yellowtail done as a kind of Italian-style carpaccio sashimi kind of vibe, inspired by my buddy Ari Colander at Found Oyster and also by Swan Oyster Depot in San Francisco. Our second one will be a Baja-style ahi ceviche with a raw ahi tuna. The third course will be a oyster shucking tutorial and eat some raw oysters, featuring my friend Kevin Fairkin, who used to be the GM of the Grand Central Oyster Bar in New York. Then for the last course, we're going to do a 3 seafood pasta. We're going to do clams, mussels, and shrimp. So step 1, clean your clams and mussels. Scrub these down a little bit, get any grime and dirt off of them. The mussels especially are pretty gnarly. And then we're just going to put them in water and they will filter through the water and eventually get nice and clean. The whole point of that is to not get sand in your pasta. And then I'm going to throw a little ice in there to keep it cold. We're going to let this sit for about 20 minutes and then we'll change the water and do it again. And the idea here is they're just kind of filtering out all of their dirt. It's going to settle out to the bottom and we'll have a much cleaner mussel. Step 2, we're going to peel our shrimp and make some shrimp stock. This is an optional bonus step. You could just buy raw shrimp and throw it into your pasta at the end, but we're gonna make our shrimp stock so that we can use it to cook the pasta in the shrimp stock, which will then give a ton of flavor back into our seafood pasta at the end. Plucking the heads right off, dropping them in the pot, peeling off the shells. Basically everything but the meat is going right in there. Shrimp heads have a ton of flavor. They're great for soup. So this broth is going to be delicious. And honestly, to me, one of my favorite things about a seafood pasta is the flavor of the seafood cooking into the pasta itself. It's not about eating a ton of fish. And that's why clams and mussels are so great, because they release this beautiful kind of liquor, this clam juice, this mussel liquor that is like what you want to dip your bread into, but instead of dipping bread into it, it just cooks into the pasta. Cover this with water and simmer it for about 20 minutes. And baby, you got a shrimp stock. All right, so first things first, we've got some halibut here, and we've got some beautiful salmon caught off the coast of Santa Barbara, and these are all sushi grade. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna pre-slice all of our crudo. We're gonna lay it all on here, and then we're gonna wrap it in plastic, put it in the fridge, then when people come over, boom, rip it off, put all the condiments on, and you're done. It's gonna be the fastest, easiest, best tasting thing you can do. And we're not doing too thin of slices. We're just gonna cut it. And then just to make it a little more bite size, I might cut it again like that. Sometimes you're having a hard time finding a sushi grade fish that you like. A good tip is to go to a Japanese market. You'll notice this isn't crazy knife skills. This isn't like the master at work. This is just a man slicing fish that is edible raw into bite-sized pieces.
This is just a man slicing fish.
It's just a man slicing fish. And now we're gonna take this beautiful piece of salmon right here. And I don't want the skin. As much as I love salmon skin, I don't love it raw. Seafood experts cringing in fear right now. Look at that beautiful piece of salmon. Caught off the coast of Santa Barbara from our friends at Wild Local Seafood Co. And like if it gets a little gunked up and you get some like kind of chunks like this, that's fine. That's delicious. This is not beautiful looking, Ben. It'll look nice on the plate though. And now this guy's ready to go. We're just gonna take some plastic wrap and just give it a nice tight wrap. Back into the fridge. This guy will just stay here until we're time to top it. The shrimp stock has been going for about 20 minutes. Turn the heat off. We're gonna just strain it out into another container and we'll use it to cook our pasta later. All right, now we got this beautiful piece of ahi tuna and we're gonna do a Baja style ceviche because this is actually a very popular thing in Baja as fish go. So this has some of the belly attached to it too. Someone might be saying, this seems like a lot of fish for Noah and one friend. And to that I say, don't forget, Ben's here.
He's an animal.
Yeah, Ben eats 40 pounds of fish a day. Right back into the fridge, where it will wait for about 20 minutes. Get this pan over a nice kind of medium heat. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil in here. Put our clams in there and put in a nice hefty glug of white wine. Going to just cover this pan, let them steam. The moment they open, they are ready. All right, so we're basically there. Look at that, that was fast. Some of them are not quite open yet, but we can take out the ones that are. Look at that, good to see it live, folks. I notice a lot of people serve their seafood pastas or just any kind of clam mussel stuff with the clams and mussels in the shell because it looks like a lot more food. It's bountiful. You know it didn't come from a can, but I'm making it myself. And the truth is, if I'm eating a plate of pasta with clams and mussels in it, and you leave the shells in, I get it, it looks cool and all, but now it becomes finger food. And now it is no longer something I can just eat with a fork. I've got to scoop out clam, throw the shell away. Like you got so close to making the meal all the way and then you just like stopped at the very end. But yeah, just leave the shells up. Don't like it. We got clams and mussels in here. We got clam mussel juice over there. We're moving and grooving. Welcome to the evening edition of Don't Panic Pantry. You see I've got all this stuff mised out already for our dinner tonight. We got sliced garlic, thinly sliced onion, serranos, red onion, zucchini, capers, parsley, cilantro. So now I'm just gonna season up this shrimp with a little bit of baking soda and salt. Remember from our shrimp episode right up here, a little bit of baking soda helps the shrimp kind of get that nice fun popping texture so they stay kind of juicy and fun. So we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of baking soda right here on the shrimp, just a light dusting, and then we're gonna season it with just a little bit of salt, and then back into the fridge until it's time to cook it. It's Christmas, the witching hour is upon us, I've prepped everything out, and the guests are arriving. The guest is, it's just Kevin, because it's a Lonely Hearts Christmas today.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Dad. And the most important thing, the first thing you do when somebody comes, you offer them a lovely wine. Kevin is also a wine expert. Kevin, this wine is from the La Marque region.
In a lovely jade glass.
This is a really nice wine. Isn't that refreshing? Kevin is a very dear old friend of mine. I've known him for a very long time. I call him either Dad or Grandpa, and he calls me Dad, Grandpa, or Grandma. And Kevin used to be the general manager of one of the busiest restaurants in America, the Grand Central Oyster Bar. So he's handled a lot of oysters, and actually now he's the director of ops for a restaurant group that includes Bloodsoe's Barbecue.
We're in the head, Bloodsoe's Barbecue. Well, we have some oysters here. You want to make sure they are not open. You see this little guy is a little
show the close-up on that.
He's a little open there, so make sure they're not open. They smell fresh. If there's anything off, it'll be like very off-putting. You've smelled a rotten oyster before. Those are extremely unpleasant. West Coast oysters, generally creamier, cucumbery notes, notes of melon sometimes. East Coast oysters are brinier, more smelling like the ocean. There's different ways to shuck, obviously.
I've done it with a butter knife way more often than I
you can do a butter knife. You can do a screwdriver. Is another way to do it.
But the main thing is, Safety first.
Safety. Woo! Safety first. I like to just get 2 rags, have one down here, and put another rag on top like that. The hinge would be right here. You're going into the hinge.
But you want to turn it so that the more of a bowl side of the oyster can hold all the liquor in.
Exactly.
If I turned it this way, it'd be flat on the bottom, and you'd spill all the oyster liquor out.
You lose the beautiful oyster liquor.
So you see kind of like, and is it like a down and then a twist?
Yeah, down and a twist is a good way to do it. See, I just went down into there, and then you can twist it. And then as you're kind of prying the top part off, you can scrape the top to make sure you get that oyster disconnected from the top. Adductor muscle, you can separate from the adductor muscle here. So
and that's so you can just shoot it without having to.
So you go under there, and then if you have
it.
any tongue blast, exactly. If you have any oyster shell fragments, you get rid of those, and then you can tongue blast. It's beautiful. A nice layer of ice, crushed ice or pebble ice.
Yeah, I don't have any crushed ice.
So we're just going like this. It keeps it in place too. If you don't have that, you can use salt also.
A little kosher salt. Kind of sits in like that. So it's just 2 married men without their wives.
Smells delicious.
Just enjoying some aphrodisiacs together. So a little light lemon squeezer.
Those are really good.
Now, we got a crudo duo for you today, Kevy. So here we've got salmon caught at the coast of Santa Barbara from our friends at Wild Local Seafood. We've got some halibut. I can't remember if it's halibut or yellowtail. I think it's halibut.
That looks like halibut.
Halibut. And now we're going to do a little kind of ode to found oyster, ode to Swan Oyster Depot, a Sicilian sashimi, so to speak. So what we're doing here is we're going to take a little combination of some capers, some finely diced red onion, and then we're going to take some lemon juice, some olive oil, and some sea salt. And for olive oil today, we've got a beautiful, delicate olive oil from our friends at Enzo's Olive Oil up in Northern California. We're going to take some of these finely minced red onions and just going to sprinkle these guys around in a fun way. And you're just eyeballing this. Onions. A little caper. Kevin, can you recognize this salt?
Oh, that looks like Gray's salt.
Ooh, it is gray French salt. Congratulations. Okay. And then you want to just kind of make sure you're following this and getting all of the fish, just keeping an eye on what you're doing here. And this is the only salt going onto this crudo, so you can be a little heavy with it. Some pepper. And then we're going to take some of this lemon from before and give it a nice hefty squeeze. Just enough to kind of get a little bit on every single little guy. Take our delicate olive oil and drizzle him liberally, just like this.
Oh, wow. Look at that glistening.
I mean,
beautiful.
Come on.
Platter. This is quite possibly the best Christmas I've ever had.
So, well, because we don't have to see our family. Since it's Italian style, we don't have to use chopsticks. Ben, that's for you, just in case you're in the mood.
Olive oil is extremely high
Isn't that
quality.
Really good olive oil?
Really good olive oil. Wow. And you want to have really good olive oil because it's so much part of the flavor of this dish. Delightful.
This looks like something really complicated to make for a party and people get afraid of it. But all you gotta do is buy good fish, slice it, put it in the fridge, put this stuff on. You now have like the most luxurious appetizer at a party and you didn't have to do anything really. Let's go to round 2, shall we, Kevin? So now we've got some beautiful ahi caught off the coast of Santa Barbara from our friends at Wild Local Seafood Company.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful? You see that belly attached to it?
Got some belly on there.
And now we're going to do this in the style of our friends down in Baja. Olive oil, some chopped up serranos, cilantro, onions, Maggi seasoning, salt and pepper.
And the Maggie's the key.
Jugo Maggi. Now, you'll notice that different countries around the world have their own versions of Maggi, but the Jugo Maggi, the Mexican one, is a real hit. Salt and pepper first, and we're just doing a little sprinkle on each piece. And then I'm just going to lay a few of these over here like this. Oh, buddy.
Delightful oyster presentation.
And then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of this serrano chili. Little serrano chili action.
Oh, yeah.
Jugo Maggi.
And this is the real umami blaster.
Oh, yeah. Back to our fancy olive oil. Little black pepper. Little lime juice. You're going pretty heavy in the lime juice because it's a quick little guy here. Little cilantro closer. Are we living or are we living, Grandpa? Happy Christmas. Gramps, shall we try this guy now?
Here we go.
Dr. Gramps.
Ooh. Ooh.
We are now at 1, 2, 3, 4 fish. I'm now going to turn the heat up on our shrimp stock over here.
That is next level. That is next level.
Because the ahi is so good.
The quality of the fish is incredible.
And the olive oil is really good too.
Wow. Best version of this I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. This is amazing.
Ben, actually you could just frame us up, please. This is our shrimp stock we made earlier, coming up to a simmer. We got our pan here. Bring that up. Let's get some olive oil going over here in the pan. And we are now making a very simple 3 seafood pasta to get us to our 7th fish. Garlic in. This is Christmas. This is what you want. You want to be throwing together the last parts of the main course while everyone's just kind of hanging out drinking wine. They're doing all this stuff. They're blasting oysters, eating crudo. All right, this garlic is going. See, it's getting kind of browned on the edges. It's very, very thinly sliced, so I don't want to go too dark on it. So now I'm going to throw in a little pinch of our old chili flakes. Let those kind of toast up into the oil for a second. This is about 1 large squash or like 2 small ones, or zucchini, I guess. Going right in. These are going to cook down. There's something about zucchini and mussels, Kev. Why is that a combination that is so popular? But I feel like I see that a lot in Italian restaurants, and I just kind of wanted to do it today. A little black pepper in here. Just want to get this to be kind of fully softened up. You don't want any of that raw zucchini in there. You want it to get a little bit melty, and the super thin slicing gets you there pretty fast. Strozzapreti from our friends at Semolina Artisan Pasta. We're going in. And we're going to cook this until it is quite al dente because we're going to finish it in the pan with all of our clam juice, etc. Let's throw in our shrimpos. And worst case, if you get too far ahead on this, just turn the heat off and let it wait a second. Just want to get these cooked till they're kind of part way through. The heads and shells and tails came off. These guys are now getting a nice little cook in here. So you want this to be like 2 minutes shy of done because you're going to finish it. And all that juice, you want that juice to soak up into our business over here. We can take our clams and our mussels and dump them in here. The clams in a clam pasta aren't the part that I care about eating. It's the juice that's in the noodle themselves. So let's get this guy going in here now. We're going to crank this guy back up. And now we can start this process. Getting our strozzi peas in there. I like a good amount of black pepper in something like this, Kevin. I don't know how you feel about that.
I love a nice slammer of black pepper.
These guys are just, we're going until the juice is cooked in. Then we'll toss it with our parsley. So not only is this shrimp stock, it's also pasta water. So you're getting like a double duty action now. Look at how glossy and great this looks. Turn this heat off. Dump in our parsley. A shrimp pasta water gloss is really doing something. You don't even really see the zucchini anymore, but it just kind of gives you a little something something.
Living the dream over here, huh?
Let's see how we did here.
Very comforting.
It's deeply comforting. The pasta tastes like seafood, which is what I'm really trying to go for.
It's that shrimp stock.
The pasta itself tastes of the ocean in a really delicious and wonderful way.
And the zucchini kind of like melts.
So that's it. We showed you how to make a feast of the 7 fishes for Christmas. You got to do it with almost entirely prepping by yourself to have just a nice time with your friends. We had oysters, we had halibut, we had salmon, we had ahi, we had shrimp, clams, and mussels. 7 fishes. 7 fishes up, 7 fishes down.
Cheers, Dr. Grandma.
Merry Christmas, Dad.
Merry Christmas.
Happy October.